Welcome again to the Black Lavender Experience. Right now, in the tradition of rights and recent theater, we're going to open up the space to have a conversation with Staceyann Chin. So please feel free to bring comments and questions. And I just wanted to, first of all, thank Staceyann for the gift of fullness. So, who wants to start? Questions?
How many mothers in the audience? I can hear all they going.
I'll say something.
Hey, can we open some doors and like make it warm? It's warm, right? Yeah.
I love your piece very, very much. And I've come to hear all of the pieces over these past days. This is very special to me because I have a show called Menopause Mama.
Ah.
And I actually have a piece in it, and I call her, the characters are names, her, him, lesbian mom. And you just embody everything that this character, I give her 5 minutes in my play, and you just embodied this whole show. I am so grateful that I got to see it, and I think it's really brilliant. And you know, to have the ending be about resilience, that's so important. There's so many women my age, I'm 68, who are still trying to discover that. And I think this whole festival, I want to say thank you to Professor over here for always doing it, because it really helps us women who are older to remember that we still have a long way to go.
Yes, yes, I know that. That's like the dream they sell. That's the dream they sell so many young people. They allow you to think that your life is kind of like a microwave situation. Like you gotta get it done in the years that you're hooked on. What do you call it? On you could just give it the bottle. That you're just hooked on MTV. Like the rest of it is like don't make any sense. Because you have to do everything by time. I mean, like the average life expectancy is somewhere between 80 and 90 in America. And for most of you are like 20 in the room, right? So you fucking have like another 70 years. That's wild when you think about it, right? You're like, oh, I don't have to get everything done in the 4 years I'm in college. And I don't have to get it done by the time I'm 30. You know, you should be more invested in the process of a long life. You know, you have all kinds of things to do in so long, you know. I used to think that I had to get it done as well. You probably think you're also having good sex.
Questions?
If nobody has anything to say, we can go, you know.
Hi, Staceyann.
Hi.
Thank you for having us here for such another amazing and really special moment. I just have to piggyback off of like the feeling of fullness from being able to watch your show and watch you engage with us. So I'm just so thankful for that. And I really wanted to ask you a question because during the show you were talking about like your relationship with Zuri and like your process of growth after like being with her. And I was curious about like for you, like the community of kids that she surrounds herself with, and like what lessons you've been able to learn from them, and like what lessons you've been able to like give to them, like from all your experiences.
Well, she's going to one of those like super expensive diversity-focused schools, the African New York feminists and their sons. They named Dandelion, Autumn, Peacemaker. So one of the struggles I'm having now is like trying to figure out like, you know, I was so like before like trying to like, oh, I don't want her to be in like the spaces where she can't thrive, and then there are so many like limitations, and how do I get her into a space where she's like fed and now I'm worried that I'm raising one of them stinking spoiled kids. I will end up, making some stupid comments in a brown class one day. But I think a couple trips a year to Jamaica might cure this. And the other thing is to be in conversation. I realize, sometimes I don't think she's listening. She's she's only 5. And then when I hear her like playing with dolls, like like she'll be playing with 2 dolls, and it's like, put her here, put her here. How do you know that I'm her? Or then she'll like, I hear like something like something that I need to address, when she'll be like, oh my God, the police are coming. What are we gonna do? Let's get our guns and just kill all the police. So, I mean, one of the lessons I've learned about children is that they're always kind of fucking listening. always listening. She had like a moment when she was like really pushing back against the use of the word fuck. And she said to me, I don't like it when you say it. I know you say it in your show, and I know you say it blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't say it. It's such a horrible word. Because she doesn't have words she can't say. What we talk about is effective communication. So if you go and tell grandma, I fucking love you, she's probably not going to hear the I love you. She's going to be distracted by the fucking part. So if you want to tell grandma something, maybe you shouldn't use the word fuck. And then I tell her, like, some adults are freaked out by kids saying fuck, so if she's going to freak them out, then okay, that's what her intention is. I got your back. But if you want effective communication, then it's a different conversation. And so she's, I don't know, like, I mean, I just get the nicest kid, I'm in traffic and driving, and I'm like, this fucking idiot! Don't call him a fucker, mama. Just drive around him. And I'm like, there's no space to drive around him. Then you can wait. I don't want to wait. Why are you always in such a hurry, mama? Like, you don't have to fucking go nowhere, Zuri. That's why you're never in a hurry. But she's like so sweet. Like, I'll be asking her questions. Like, I go in the living room protest, we're asking questions. I'm like, how does it make you feel when that boy tells you that, you have no muscles? Does it make you feel angry and like you want to just like be so angry? And she's like, no, it just hurts my feelings. And then I have to like talk to myself in the bathroom, like, you're trying to make this kid into you. Can you just stop? And then I have to remember, there's this situation that happened with her when I was like, you know what, my whole life in Jamaica I had to wear hand-me-downs. And I had to like put up with the shit with people saying like, you have on a dress, and that was last year Easter dress for me. And when you're like the small kid and you don't have anything, you wear everybody's hand-me-downs because you can fit into everything that they don't wear again. And so I just used to be always in hand-me-downs, and then I always like longed for a time when I would just have the tag on something that would come to me. Like it would come directly from the store, and it would just have the tag on it, and it would just be tagged. And everything would just be amazing because it would just have a tag on it. And so like a part of me is like, I see people go to thrift stores and I'm like, I can't wear it. Some motherfucker I don't know was in it, I can't. My whole life I've been wearing other people's clothes, I'm not doing it anymore. And then there was a kid who she kind of liked, and there was a parent who was a friend of mine, and well actually, yeah, I can't say that on camera. Anyways, so the person gave her a t-shirt, like when the person's like, oh, so-and-so's kid is outgrown this, maybe Zuri will like it. So I'm not gonna be like, fuck off, I don't want your hand-me-down. So I was like, thank you very much, it's very nice of you. And I bring it home. Zuri find the bag, Zuri open the bag, oh my God, it's a Frozen t-shirt, because we can't wear nothing with white girls on it, so, until they can make a really good case for the white girl that you want to wear on your chest, you're not gonna. Only because there's like so many white girls in the world already, and so, that are on t-shirt, so she must wear Dora, and she must wear like fucking Doc McStuffin, and she must wear Tiana, and like, so once I found her with like a marker, she's like coloring the white girls. She's making the fro with the marker, and I was like, listen, you made it happen, it's a t-shirt you can wear. But anyways, so she gets this little t-shirt, and she's like, I want to really wear it, mama, please, 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 please. So I was like, okay. And I have all kind of feelings, and then the t-shirt is like ratty and have holes in it, and I'm like, how the fuck can you actually hand me down this to send to anybody? This, you should just not even bring it to my house. This is just insulting. And she wore the t-shirt every day, every time she can. And then one day I said to her, why do you like this ratty t-shirt? And she goes, every time I wear it, I just think about so-and-so. And it just makes me feel so happy that he wanted me to have his t-shirt. And me in therapy for it. Because I had to go to therapy and be like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, and I still didn't want her to wear it, but you know, like, the thing I'm trying to say is like, their journey is their journey. And they really are, you know, as corny as it sounds, they're really just on loan to you. And you just enjoy them and they move along their way. Because right now she's 5 years old and she was supposed to come with me on this trip and she told me, I have dancing and I have cooking. I'm not going to miss it. Go. Wow. I'm going to miss dancing and I'm going to miss cooking. So, no thank you, I'll stay.
We have more questions?
Hi. Could you tell us a little bit about your process? I'm sure you could go on and on, but how long did you work on it? What was difficult in that work? What was easy? Where was the joy?
The joy. Yes. You were, well, I started blogging for the Huffington Post because during the time when I was running around and looking for sperm, I was going a little crazy. And I was having lunch with, or dinner with one of the editors from Huffington Post. And she goes, this shit is just hilarious. And I'm like, it's not hilarious, it's terrible. And she goes, you have to blog. You have to blog for us. And so I blogged for the Huffington Post. And the blogs became so popular that at the end of the pregnancy, I had all these blogs about the pregnancy. And I was like, what am I going to do with them? So I put them all together and then I put the poems together. Also the poem that I wrote, Staceyann Chin, Her Name Means Vulnerable. That's the first poem I wrote. I stopped writing poems from the moment I was pregnant until the moment I gave birth. And I didn't write a poem in between from the time, you know, like when I was 8 days in. The reason I did that test on day 8 is because I was brushing my teeth and I gagged. And because, you know, for those of us who, when you really want to get pregnant and you know everything about pregnancy, you know, if your mouth tastes like iron, you might be pregnant. You know that if you're brushing your teeth and you gag, that your gag reflex becomes less when you're pregnant. So you vomit easily, which is why women are always like throwing up when they're pregnant. So you know all the things. So day 8, I'm brushing my teeth and I gag in the bathroom and I'm like, shit, I might be pregnant. So I immediately go out and buy the test and it's positive and all that shit. So, like every detail of it becomes so ridiculous. Now I'm this lesbian running after every man. I mean, I think I asked, like everybody, like every friend in my circle. Carl, you know Carl, I was like, Carl, give me some sperm. I asked Jesse Eisenberg. I asked Michael Ealy. I asked, you know, fucking just anybody, like, you know, Tim Robbins, like all the friends who are known and well known. Brian Meeks, if you are anywhere near me, I want to beg you some sperm as well. Anybody who was like smart and good looking, I was like, give me some. Do it in a cup. Come, let's go to the bathroom. I'm ovulating right now. So it was kind of ridiculous and a little rabid. I mean, like some of these men with like 8 children out in the world that they don't give a shit about all the things. And they're like, I'm really careful about where my sperm goes. Since when? So it was an interesting thing for me to, you know, like I had no use for men for so long because I'm 20 years old. I come in, it dawns on me, I'm a gay. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden I don't need like the penis and the sperm and, you know, like all of the man hair thing, all of the, it's just not my forte anymore because I've moved on to like the, you know, the completely feminine. And then I look up and I'm 35 and all I want to do is like, I'm not hunting a woman, I am hunting a man. I'd be like, what's your sperm count? Are you virile? He looks tall, he looks very handsome. Hey, let me see your teeth. You know? Just this kind of craziness that was happening. And it was so ridiculous that, and I don't think that I had any, like in retrospect, I can spot the moment when I was kind of happy and jubilant, like when I found out I was pregnant. I mean, all of the moments when I was on bed rest for 6 months, and I couldn't do things by myself. I couldn't get up and make food, and which means somebody had to be with me 24 hours a day, and I couldn't afford to pay someone to do that. So all my friends in Brooklyn showed up. There's this woman called Safia Bandele who used to be at Medgar Evers College. college. She retired like the week before I got pregnant, and somebody told her that I was, so she's like, okay, she called me up. I don't know you, but I can give you every Monday. So every Monday I will come to your house, I will bring you food, and I will move your car and do all the things that need doing on a Monday. And before you know it, I had somebody on a Tuesday. And I had to eat breakfast at 6 o'clock or else I'd be like retching, like sick all day. So all my friends who came over would have to rise at 5:30 and cook. And I had 5 things I could eat. I could eat bacon, I could eat grits, I could drink grape soda, and eat tabbouleh. I mean, like... So somebody had to go and fetch the tabbouleh and only one brand of bacon. I could eat. It was just ridiculous. And but it was amazing that people came forward and kind of became that community, and a different community too, because the community that is now that was around when Zuri was born is not the community that was there when, because the people who like help with the pregnancy and the erranding are not so good with different people with the baby, and different people with the toddler, and different people with like the young kid that's like running around now and demand different things. You know, the people who are good at arts and crafts. This is the time. You know what I mean? So like just the way that the world, you know, you kind of like think you don't have community and then it shows up. That's amazing and joyful and full and all of the fulls that I can talk about. But writing the script itself was really, really, really hard because I didn't know I had a script. I had all the stories together, pieces and pieces of it. And I remember sending it to Cynthia. Cynthia Nixon directed the New York version. And I remember sending it to her and going like, this is all a mess, Cynthia, what do you think? And she read it in 2 hours. I sent it to her like 3 o'clock in the morning. And by 6, she had written back and saying, when are we doing it? And so that was kind of like wonderful and good as well. And the process of actually getting the script, from script to performance, was grueling. I mean, it was an emotionally taxing experience. You know, all the things I thought I'd figured out about my mother was just like, you know, all of a sudden I was like reorganizing everything about my mother because, you know, I just realized all the things about myself being a child who wasn't cared for came to the surface. You know, I couldn't learn the fucking lines around my mother, that, you know, like weeks in. Renee, where are you? We were just bawling. I was just bawling in rehearsals and couldn't get my lines and was just, I'm really sorry. And everybody's like, chill, just, all right, it's gonna be okay. And then just, you know, crazy. And then we had like the debacle with, we raised the first $125,000 to put it up in New York. And then somebody did something that they weren't supposed to do, and I think $80,000 or $100,000 went missing from the whatever. So we couldn't open in September. We had now to push it back, and then we had to like figure out a schedule when all the people on the bill couldn't make it, because we had Rosie, we had Cynthia, we had, you know, all bunch of people and their calendars had to come together. So we didn't open until in the dead of December. And just shit. The show was as troublesome as getting the baby was. You know, taking the show to fruition. But you know, it's been amazing, and I've learned a lot, and we've done like 3 major cities in the U.S. long runs, and then we've done some smaller cities, and then we do some colleges like this one. And Toronto, and you know, we're hoping to go to Ireland in a bit. So it's been a wonderful experience. And the next thing I'm going to write about is love, and I don't know what the fuck I'm going to write about love, because I'm the least capable, the least expert person to talk about love, because I'm so inept at it. And I can give you references for all my exes who will tell you what a shit I am to partner with. So I'm going to have to write that story. I mean, only because I think, you know, like everything that I struggle with, I write about it. And I haven't really taken on love in any kind of serious way and really examined why it is that I'm such a fucking failure at it. And how that is informed by the first people who loved you. So anybody who wants to help come and mop me up, then this is the next show I'm gonna write. And I'm also single for the first time in a long time. And it's not like they have the same girlfriend. It's just that they happen quick. One day girlfriend. So I am now single, and I'm making a public pledge. This is the first place I'm saying it at Brown University, to stay single for 1 year. Don't clap yet, don't clap. Some of you might put
wrap it up right here, and just please remember that we have a reception right now, and please remember
Ron,
to
can I have a
fill
fucking
out.
reception? This is where the $68,000 going.
And please remember to fill out the questionnaire that you have in your program. Thanks again to Staceyann.
Fill out the questionnaire.